This episode of Mystery Files is brought to you by Life is Strange Double Exposure, a narrative adventure game which takes players on a journey to solve an impossible supernatural murder mystery. Play as Max Caulfield, who discovers her closest new friend Safi dead in the snow, murdered. To save her, Max tries to rewind time, a power she's not used in years. Instead, Max opens the way to a parallel timeline where Safi is still alive and still in danger. Max realizes the killer will soon strike again in both versions of reality. With her new power to shift between two timelines, can Max solve and prevent the same murder? Jump right into the experience for yourself. Available now on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
I love the TT, man.
I do too.
Release the tape.
Release the tape.
Release the TT tape.
I want the TT tape.
We want to see the TT tape.
Are you the TT man?
Welcome to Mystery Files, where we take a deep dive into cases that span from the creepy to the truly bizarre and everything in between. I'm Shane, and today I'll be forcing my colleague Ryan to hear all about one of the internet's most infamous alleged time travelers, John Titor. In the end, you'll have to decide if this mystery is solved or if it's simply a mystery. John Titor, Ryan, you heard of him?
I've never even heard of this guy before.
Well, you're about to learn about him. Now, this is a special episode of Mystery Files brought to you by the video game Life is Strange Double Exposure, a thrilling narrative adventure game now available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The game explores an impossible murder mystery across two parallel timelines, and we thought it made for the perfect supernatural segue to today's mysterious time-traveling figure, John Titor.
Now you're saying alleged time traveler.
Well, yeah, because I guess if it were confirmed,
We'd all be time traveling.
we'd be time traveling.
Where'd you be?
Where would I go? Where would I go? I would ride a T-Rex.
You would ride a T-Rex.
I'd lasso a T-Rex. I'd be riding around on him.
Have you ever lassoed anything in your entire life?
I've lassoed.
I'd love to see a picture or a video or something like that.
I have a picture, and we're going to cut to it right now. And that's real.
That's something you've made our poor post team whip up.
No, I did not. We do not make our post team do photoshops of me lassoing Pesto the penguin or whatever I'm doing in that photo.
I'm going forward, by the way. I'm going into the future.
And what are you going to do there?
So much. And then I'm going to get information about the past, and I'm going to come back and use that information.
Well, I think you'll find out that's actually frowned upon.
I saw it once in a movie.
On November 2nd, 2000, a user named timetravel_0 replied to a thread titled Time Travel Paradoxes! On an online forum called the Time Travel Institute. This is the first online correspondence on record from the notorious temporal traveler who would come to be known as John Titor. Now, the thread's original poster, simply called Poll, posted his musings on classic time travel hypotheticals, such as, if you were born, could you go back and kill your granny?
Why would I wonder that?
Hey, that's a thing we all wonder, right?
Not really.
Can I kill my grandma?
This feels like something that you want to do.
I don't want to do that, and also, my grandmas are deceased.
Well, you want to go back in time so you could kill them again.
Why would, what do you mean again?
I'm just asking the questions.
These are weirdos, you gotta understand. These are freaks who are on message boards and forums. Psychos, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway, Paul also got into some of the nitty-gritty of time travel mechanics, citing the works of Frank Tipler, a radical physicist and cosmologist known for books like The Physics of Immortality, as well as Roy Kerr, the pioneer of the black hole, who provided an exact solution to Einstein's field equation of general relativity to describe the geometry of empty space-time. I don't know who either of these guys are. I'm not a big science guy, you know?
Well, I do like the title Pioneer of the Black Hole. That'd be pretty cool to have that. Nothing crazy about that. I'm just saying that'd be cool to have on a business card.
You watch yourself, Bergara.
I'm just saying it'd be fun to have on a business card.
Anyway, this is where time travel_0, also known to the hardcore John Titor fans as TT0, decided to weigh in. Quote.
Just to be clear here, we're calling this guy time travel_0. It says time travel_01.
Yes. So there's some discrepancy there. It changed at some point. Time travel?
Maybe we're seeing the effects of the butterfly.
Let's keep going.
Quote, wow, Paul is right on the money. I was just about to give up hope on anyone knowing who Tipler or Kerr was on this world line. The basics for time travel start at CERN in about a year and end in 2034 with the first time machine built by GE. Too bad we can't post pictures or I'd show it to you.
End quote. Now you might be asking, world line? You literally asked that. Remember
did.
that? Let's just think of that as an alternate universe or timeline.
Cool.
Let's focus on the fact that TT0
TT man.
casually dropped that he knew about the future and had evidence that he, as a part of a mysterious we, wasn't authorized to share.
From General Electric, the first time machine ever made.
Time machine is basically an appliance in the future.
It's true.
You're probably buying them at, Costco.
I hope not. It's a power should not be wielded by man.
Now, the people on the forum obviously had questions. Specifically, one superfan named Pamela, who offered to help TT0 subvert the rules by posting pictures for him. And she even managed to have an extensive Q&A with the elusive alleged time traveler. In the messages they exchanged and in his own later posts on the Art Bell web forum, Titor described extensively how he time traveled. He detailed his life and the state of the world as he knew it. Now, within less than a month, Titor's forum page had been accessed over 4,000 times.
4,000 times?
Hey, look!
4,000 hits?
This is
Was
like-
this a 4-year amusement episode? I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Self-burn!
he said it, I didn't say it. This is like some shitty little website, you know? That's exciting for them. They're probably like,
These numbers are off the charts. Call the dean.
And, you know, Pamela means business, too, because she's a dimensional traveler, whereas our guy...
yeah, the TT man.
Yeah, the TT man. He was just a temporal novice.
That's right. John told Pamela that he was born in 1998, meaning if he existed...
Gen Z!
Yes, meaning if he existed in our world line, he would currently be 26 years old.
Sick.
Yeah. But according to his world line, in 2005, when he was 7 years old, the US broke into civil war following a tumultuous election in 2004. The war lasted a decade, and in 2011, at the age of 13, Titor became a rebel child soldier, forced to wield a shotgun for the Fighting Diamondbacks, a Florida infantry unit, until the war ended in 2015.
So we avoided this timeline, I'm guessing, because TT Man prevented this from happening.
Maybe.
And then is now just sharing his exploits and tales of heroism in this forum with Pamela.
Quite possibly. You know, he can't divulge everything because he doesn't want to affect our world line too much.
He's sure divulging a lot of details, though.
He's titillating us. He's like little J.J. Abrams.
The titillating TT Man.
What's your image of this guy? I'm picturing like a cape.
Honestly, he kind of looks like the guy in Toy Story 2 in my mind. Like
Al?
Al.
Can you draw him for
Let's
me?
see, I'll draw him.
I love it when you draw. I'm excited to see this. Let's take a look.
Looks like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Kind of like a balding guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Really nice. So the Civil War ended in 2015, or rather, the Civil War became small potatoes at the start of a global war that same year. As political destabilization followed in governments across the world, Russia launched nuclear attacks across the US, China, and Europe. World War III was quick and brutal and killed almost half of the world's population in 2000 when Titor was posting.
It sounds like this guy's a hero.
As you'll find, he's speaking as more of a unit of people, so he may not be the only time traveler. Maybe on our world line, all this isn't happening.
Yeah.
It could be his work, but frankly, he seems like the guy who would take credit for it.
He has. He kind of has.
Yes, but he didn't specifically say, I prevented this.
It's coming, though, right?
Maybe. Now, according to Titor, most of the US's major cities were destroyed. So the capital obviously moved to, say it with me, Omaha, Nebraska. The new US government split the nation into 5 regions based on their unique geopolitical factors. Each region was given their own president, ruling together at the federal level. States' rights lived at the center of civic ideals, and massive power shifts engendered by the two-party political system were finally alleviated. This is John's world. Imagine it.
A blossoming utopia.
Food and livestock are grown and sold locally. People read more. They know how to calculate sums in their heads and how to play instruments. Oh, lovely thought. Trade schools for agriculture or woodworking are popular. People prefer to speak face to face. They take religion seriously. They ride bikes or horses to get around locally. Centralized banks don't exist, neither do income taxes. And doctors make house calls. Why, if you got a disease or an injury they can't fix, end of the line, time to die.
Oh, shit.
Slow living, fast dying. That's Titor's America.
Some pretty inspired stuff in there.
Yeah, sounds nice, right?
Yeah.
You know I'm a pretty Christian guy.
You're a zealot.
If you see me on the street, flag me down. I got some literature for you.
Are you the TT man? Oh, shit.
Now, it's not that technology doesn't exist. They've got Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, clearly universal in all world lines. Solar energy is the most common form of public power. High-speed trains connect major cities. And people make their own shows, distributed on the internet rather than broadcast networks, which have also fallen. Now, unfortunately for you, Bergoos, even in that world line, there's no new information about UFOs. Though, as a time traveler himself, Titor believed that perhaps aliens were more advanced time travelers. Is that interesting to think about? Huh?
It is kind of funny that even in that world, he's like, aliens, where I draw the line. I don't know if I could say aliens are real. He could have just been like, aliens are walking around everywhere, but.
He's also allegedly only from, a few decades into the future, so.
He does have a time machine. He could go look.
I don't know if he ever went like deep future.
I guess we'll find out, yes.
Let's say that you're a time traveler.
Okay.
Whoa! I want to know, what does the future look like where you're from? He's going to his mind palace. Shh.
Okay, I have it.
Great. Thank you, Brittney.
Careful what's under there. What is that picture?
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, so in my world, we would have a theme park in every state. I mean, that's a given.
Is that what this is suggesting here?
United States Theme Park Act. Yeah, there you go.
Are you telling me there's not a theme park in every state?
Like a major one. A lot of our resources go into making this theme park great.
Okay, and we're diverting that from what, the education system?
Ideally.
Okay.
We probably would have some cool tech, your typical future shit like flying cars. But more than anything, though, I would probably divert all of our technological resources and development into talking dogs.
Oh, like the stupid dog from Up.
Except maybe not as rudimentary as that.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, one of the dogs became president. So the pee-pee man would be the president. Maybe there's no internet.
This looks really lovely.
I think we should divert all resources into dogs talking. I think it would solve a lot of our issues.
I don't think it would solve any of them, but
I think it would solve almost all of our
it's a nice thought. I also have my version of the future here.
Okay.
Here we go.
Well, that's certainly a terrifying emoji right there. Wait, also theme parks.
Yeah.
What's going on? But then there's a big thumbs down above
Yes, because they've all shut down. Because nobody leaves their houses because we're all plugged into the metaverse.
it. Okay, this is the worst.
The only theme park that still exists is Santa's Village in East Dundee, Illinois.
Okay, I gotta do everything I can to prevent this future from happening then.
Littering and not using your turn signal are fully illegal and
Punishable by death?
you'll be executed by the state. All sports are 0G and they're played by robots. And the losers are all executed by the state. Live on primetime.
But the robots.
It's fun to watch. And then down here is a quiet place but it's in France. It's only in France.
That explains the creepy emoji.
Now that brings us back to Florida's favorite son, John Titor, whose favorite food was oranges, as his Tampa-based family made their living selling them up the coast via sailboat. Sexy. Now in 2029, when he was 31, Titor enrolled at Fort UF, formerly known as the University of Florida. His chosen career post-grad? Time traveler.
Nice.
A new career path at the time. Now, many people still didn't even believe in time travel, even though its existence was not a secret.
Just another day in the office right there.
Yeah,
right?
just jumping into the void, baby.
Jumping into that time vortex.
Yeah.
In a suit.
Now, after a year of training, he began working with the 177th Temporal Recon Unit. Titor's unit was tasked with traveling to obtain information or items necessary to elevate the existing normalcy in the wake of World War III. Most trips back concentrated on the years between 1960 and 1980. He likened being a temporal driver to an airline pilot, stating that they were more like aeronautical engineers than scientists. In April of 2036, Titor is given his mission, which allows him to come into our world line. Collect an IBM 5100 computer from the year 1975 in Rochester, Minnesota, weighing a whopping 55 pounds and having a 5-inch monitor, this baby was one of the first portable computers, or PC.
This is a PPC.
That's a PPC.
Yeah. There is, I'm guessing, some sort of important information on this PPC.
You're asking the right fucking questions. Now, Titor claimed that he was chosen for this particular mission because his grandfather was part of the team that worked to build the IBM 5100. And travelers were chosen based on their ability to gain the cooperation of someone related to the goal on the target world line.
If I walked up to you on the street and I was like, hey, I'm your grandson from the future, you'd probably take a once over of me and be like, I doubt it.
What, because all of my ancestors will only
one,
procreate with white people?
Well, one, I'm half your size and I look nothing like you.
You look a little like me. You could, if you bulked up a little.
You fucking son of a bitch. Guy's built like a water weenie and he tells me that. That's crazy, dude.
Now, what could possibly be world-changing about the IBM 5100? This is just an old shitty computer. You know, who wants that? Well, Titor claimed that this model had a, quote, very simple and unique feature that was accidental and removed from any future computers released by IBM. With some tweaks that could only be done by the software engineers who developed it, this technology could be used to debug all legacy code computer programs. I don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Needless to say, his online audience was captivated and skeptical of the alleged temporal aeronaut, who was both overindulgent and curmudgeonly with his replies. To those wanting to do a bit of insider trading, he replied, quote,
are stock tips really the first thing you want to know about the future? As a representative of your time period, do you realize what that says about you? Perhaps I should let you all in on a little secret. No one likes you in the future. This time period is looked at as being full of lazy, self-centered, civically ignorant sheep.
Sheeple.
We got a sheeple guy here.
You're a bunch of sheeple.
Hey, my thought is, if you think that about us,
Then get the fuck out of here!
Have you ever seen a sheep?
you're making the case for being a sheep.
They look pretty calm, relaxed, peaceful. I'd love to be a sheep.
I mean, you kind of are. You're a Disney guy. Anyway, this guy could go to hell, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could track this guy down and kick his ass.
He'd be one step ahead. He's got his grandpa's computer, his PCC.
No, my grandpa's computer!
Now let's talk about predictions, because that's why we're all here, right?
Sure.
It would be fun if, like, on one of his sign-offs, he was like,
This won't make sense now, but Hawk Tua.
and we were like,
And once more, talk to her.
after being asked about the polar ice caps in 2036, he claimed that they were no longer melting at the same rate. He claimed industrial waste and smog production had decreased, as had the average global temperature, implying that in 2036, accelerated global warming was somehow not the massive problem long predicted by the scientific community. So I guess he's suggesting...
Some sort of course-correcting measures taken?
Sure, maybe, right? But you have to remember, this was supposedly after a nuclear war decimated half the world's population just 20 years ago. Though technically a nuclear war could cause global temperatures to decrease, he continued to contradict earlier statements when asked if the sun appeared any different, stating, quote,
Well, when you can see it through the high-level smoke and haze, not that I'm aware of.
Also, which one is it? Is there smoke and haze or is there not smoke and haze?
I think we got him.
We got him.
Should we wrap it up here? This has been fun.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. Now to the elephant in the room, which is that so far, the future that John Titor described has not come true. Even at all. Even a little bit. I mean, there's always the theory of differing world lines to consider, though even by Titor's calculation, the world line should only be 1% to 2% different. The changes should be small. Not as large as world wars never happening.
He literally had no predictions at all?
Titor did get some predictions right. He correctly predicted America would wage war in the Middle East, claiming they had nuclear weapons, but ultimately would fail to find evidence of said weapons of mass destruction, specifically in Iran. He predicted the rise of GMO foods and predicted that China would send an astronaut into space in 2003. He mentioned CJD disease, a rare brain disease that leads to dementia and has been linked to mad cow disease, implying it would be problematic in the future. And in fact, in the 2000s, there was a mad cow outbreak with nearly 200 fatalities, but it was largely isolated to the UK.
You could kind of just predict that shit.
Yeah, and also the CJD thing, call it mad cow disease.
So nothing too crazy.
No, he's a phony.
Okay.
Now, those who could look beyond their skepticism had many questions about the semantics behind time travel itself. It all started when a discovery at the CERN particle accelerator led to the invention of time travel. A time-traveling driver is nothing, of course, without his vehicle, and in Titor's case, a 500-pound C204 unit manufactured by General Electric in 2034 served as his stationary mass temporal displacement engine. This, of course, was placed in a 1967 Chevrolet, allowing him to cross through the decades in style.
Oh, that's so much smaller than I thought it was. Like
Oh, you thought there was a person like in here?
Yeah, like a chamber.
Now his C204 unit could travel at approximately 10 years an hour and was accurate within 50 to 60 year jumps. For jumps greater than 60 years, there was a higher chance that you'd diverge from your intended world line, emerging in a time where the event never happened at all. John gives the example that if you wanted to meet Jesus, for instance, look at this guy, remember him? There's a better than average chance that he was never born in the world where you landed.
Accurate within 50 to 60 year jumps.
The further you go, the more
Deviation occurs.
deviation occurs, and the crazier the world you'll end up in.
Cool.
I'd ride that thing 5,000 years into the future.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah. However, he believed as the technology for the units improved, they would be able to make longer jumps more accurately. He explained his machine moved through time, not space. The vehicle itself was a static object. The only physical evidence of the trip would be a patch of dirt missing from where you took off and a pile of dirt where the vehicle landed. He described the physical sensation of time traveling, saying it was, quote, driving under a rainbow. Light bends around the vehicle before going totally black. Then you emerge in a new time, fading in as if driving out from under a bridge. The gravity field allows a small air pocket of oxygen around the car, so bring compressed air with you. This small supply is all you'll have for the journey. Now, while the vehicle could reach 100 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit during travel, in general, the trip wasn't uncomfortable. Travelers wore protective eyewear to avoid the burst of light accelerating to light speed. John also didn't eat before a flight due to the heavy gravitational pull tending to pull whatever was in his stomach back out of his mouth. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I feel like time traveling, you probably vomit.
Yeah, you probably would.
I'm trying to think if time travel seems like a plausible thing. It's far-fetched, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Whenever he returned to his own world line, he'd appear to have aged slightly, though to his knowledge, the state of his DNA was largely unaffected. However, since he began traveling, he became, quote, more susceptible to colds. Ain't that the truth?
We've been doing a lot of traveling. We're susceptible to colds now. People are going to be accusing us of time traveling after this episode.
I bet they will.
And they'd be right.
Do you think this guy's the real deal?
If I had to put, gun to my head,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with no.
But would you like to believe in him?
Would I like to believe? No, because this guy sounds insufferable.
He does.
And if he's right, I don't know if I can handle that.
So we really want to stick it to the TT man.
I think so.
Well, on to the theories. Theory 1. John Titor
Is a jackass.
was in fact a time traveler.
So it's all legit. It's
All
all
legit. So what was this time traveler even doing? Messaging on forums in our world line? Well, Titor claimed to have arrived in 2000 for personal reasons, including seeing family, picking up photos destroyed in the war, and spending time with his toddler self, who felt like a little brother to him. Though it was strange, he admitted, to observe early signs of his own personality developing.
If there was an older guy that came up to you in the park and he kind of looked like you, like let's say it's Ralph Ineson,
I'd kick him in the nuts. I'd be like, get away, creep.
but then wouldn't your nuts start to kind of hurt? Maybe
Well, then in that case, I'd punch myself in the nuts, and then it would get him in the future.
if you punch enough though, you'd disappear. So if you punched hard enough, you would just.
But you're not your own son.
You're right. You're right. No, you're right. No, you're
You're
right.
so bad at time travel.
Hey, look, it's my first go.
And of course, he was there to warn people of the imminent civil war.
Did he tell that to his other self?
A war is coming. Now, he claimed that while going over his flight plan home, he was assigned a VGL holdover period that put him in April of 1998 for a short stay before he could return to 1975, where his mission was located, and then back to 2036. This actually corresponded with a series of letters via fax sent to a popular paranormal radio show, Coast to Coast AM. In July of 1998, the show read the messages from a man claiming to be a time traveler. It seems like a coincidence, but
Yeah, I mean, unless the letters say, my name is John Titor, I'm going to be on this forum or something.
it's me, the TT man.
The one, the only.
As for confirming his mission, although the IBM 5100's imperative feature was a secret, Titor claimed that the right people, quote, would know what he was talking about. This, in fact, also happened to be true. Some IBM engineers allegedly confirmed the secret that Titor knew about the computer, adding that only about 20 people would know about it. But one representative who worked on the team that created it noted that Titor's terminology didn't quite align with the language they used to talk about their program, and said most of Titor's information could be found on the internet. So what do we think about that?
Not a lot to really move the needle or prove it to me.
No.
Food for thought.
On to Theory 2. John Titor was simply a hoax. Now, in the late 2000s, an Italian television program, Voyager, and the website Hoax Hunters both launched investigations into Titor, tracking IP addresses, locating P.O. boxes, digging deep for a suspect. Their search led them to one Florida family consisting of 4 brothers, the Habers, one of whom was believed to be responsible for John Titor's posts. Would you ever do this with Jake?
Make a false reality in which I time traveled and then post it on the internet?
Yeah, would you ever do that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I knew
We
you'd
do that
do
kind
that.
of stuff all the time.
Their suspects included Maury Haber, a chief technology officer. Of course, there was Lawrence Larry Haber, an entertainment attorney. Ooh la la. Next up, we've got Richard Haber, an IT professional. And of course, Arthur Haber, the cute one.
Yeah.
It was also suspected it may be one of their sons. Now, the Haber family has denied being John Titor. However, Larry Haber claimed to be the attorney to Kay Titor, a woman who was alleged to be John Titor's mother. Her existence has never been confirmed, and when asked if his client would ever come forward to the public, Haber claims she said, quote, someday, not now. Haber also claims he's seen a convincing clip of a departure video showing Titor leaving in 2001 that the family eventually wants to release.
Oh, please, God, release the film.
Release the tape!
Release the tape.
Release the TT tape!
I want the TT tape.
We want to see the TT tape. Now, several Titor impersonators have tried to take credit for the posts over the years without much credibility. But another theory comes from multimedia artist Joseph Matheny. Look at him. Beautiful face. Now, he claimed to be a consultant on a literary experiment that ended up being the John Titor Project, an experiment for a group of creators intrigued by the idea of the internet being the modern vehicle for folklore. Now, if that was an experiment, I think we can agree, not a failure.
No, sure.
Because early internet history has an increasingly folklore-like quality to it.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one? Hoax?
I'll reveal that at the end.
Oh, being a bit withholding.
Well, that's the format of the show.
And that, of course, brings us to Theory 3. That this was all an elaborate case of role-playing. Now, Matheny believed that the project ended after TT0's original post, and that the posts that followed on the Art Bell forum were from an imitator who picked up the role. Now, no one has come forward to corroborate Matheny's claims, but he said he felt obligated to tell the truth after realizing so many people believed it was real. He claims the group did not associate with the Habers, nor did they know Pamela, the woman who initially kicked off Titor's Q&A, which brings us back to John's first and biggest fan.
Pamela. I remember her. She was very...
She was the one who was like, oh, I got a Q&A with this guy.
Curious Pam.
Are you out there, Pam? Are you watching this?
I hope you are.
We know what you're up to, Pam.
The jig is up, Pam.
Now, some have wondered if Pamela Moore has been John all along, considering initially she was the one to conduct most of the Q&As and upload their chats for the rest of the community to read. She had the most communication with John Titor by far, and ultimately, she even claimed to be in contact with John's mom, Kay. When he left, he allegedly gave her a secret song that would prove his identity should they meet again. In September of 2016, she says she received a package with letters from John and Kay, as well as music from John, though it was unrelated to their secret song.
Probably Escape.
Escape?
The Pina Colada song.
Oh, that's a good one.
Pam is pretending to be John.
That's right.
And who's Kay then in this?
Kay is allegedly John's mother.
Who would be Pam's mother?
Well, neither of them are real. I don't think Kay is real. I don't think Pam is real.
Then who's real?
It's a great question, Ryan.
Am I real?
I don't know.
Are you real?
I don't know. Whoa, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Anyway, we're back. Don't worry about that. However, most close to the case believe Pamela is just a true believer, and to this day she is revered within the Titor community as a genuinely sweet person. Someone anonymously sent her a copy of the John Titor book, which is available for a cool $599 on Amazon, published by the John Titor Foundation. There's a song at the end of the book that she says is also not their secret song. Okay.
Wow.
Do you think that's the impetus for this whole thing, so we could just sell a book for $600?
I mean,
Maybe it's signed by the TT man.
that's right.
Well, Ryan, I've got a question for you. What do you believe?
I think it's just a hoax.
Or is it real?
Is it real?
That's right. That's an option as well.
I forgot that was an option. Let me put that into my mental calculator.
Let me see your notes. What do you got in your notes?
Well, I had two notes about you.
What were the two notes? What were they?
I wrote, this dude is a weirdo.
This dude is a weirdo?
Yeah, and I wrote, this man is rude.
That's the other one?
Yeah.
Wait, let me see that. It does say this dude is a weirdo, this man is rude, and then you've got a drawing of John Titor.
This is all nonsense. I think this is a hoax. I think it was figured out to be a hoax.
So you believe it's been cracked?
I believe it's cracked.
Well, eventually, John Titor took the 500-pound C204 unit out of his 1967 Chevy and upgraded it to a 1987 four-wheel drive truck for the journey home. Hell yeah. His very last message came on March 24th, 2001. He signed off saying,
Bring a gas can with you when your car dies on the side of the road. Farewell, John.
this was related to a parable he shared earlier about always being prepared because you can't depend on anyone.
Well, thank you for that pearl of wisdom.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Just intricate metaphor. What a poet.
It's great stuff.
Titor's message ultimately is one that seems to live at the heart of all science fiction. Quote,
The most I could hope for is that you recognize the possibility of time travel as a reality. You are able to change your world line for better or worse, just as I am.
but ultimately, this case remains a mystery.
Does it?
No, not really.
Does it though?
Guys, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Come on.
We haven't found the person responsible for it, is the thing. In that sense, it remains a mystery. By the way, though, if you're out there and you did this, chime off in the comments.
You realize you're just going to start like an I am Spartacus scenario here in the comment section.
I am the TT man.
I am the TT man.
No, I am the TT man.
No, I'm the TT man.
Cool. Thanks again to today's episode sponsor, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Go out and play it now, and you'll feel like a real John Titor yourself.
Oh, your own TT man experience.
That's right. That's right.
This episode of Mystery Files is brought to you by the narrative adventure video game Life is Strange Double Exposure. Harness the power of time by shifting between two parallel timelines to solve a thrilling murder mystery. Available now on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
I mean, they can give them like, little mustaches or something to make them seem human. I don't care.